and then coring devices, different types of corers, and then dredging. Of course, trawling is also there, but trawling not much importance. So you go through this material, try to understand and the concept of each device. Okay. Now after that, I have given this whatever I had told yesterday about the sediment sampling analysis. So these are the central tendency and then sorting. So these are the things. And for this particular sample, this table is calculated, and there is one more sample also. So for this, the above information is given. So wherever it is not there, you just fill it. The peakedness ratio is not calculated here. So you calculate the peakedness ratio using this formula. Using this formula, right? Then you take this sample, and for this sample, you calculate these parameters: central tendency, sorting, both standard deviation, skewness, and peakedness ratio. Okay, so this is your exercise. So this is what I have just now sent about 10 minutes back. Now, coming to our continuation, of our class. So today, I am going to introduce to you the basic two things: the bed load and the suspended load. Now, it is very easy to understand what a bed load is and what a suspended load is. What you require to understand is how this bed load or suspended load is initiated or is caused. So, what is the we have seen the environmental factors, but actually, what happens? Let us look at. So, you look at this figure. So, this figure gives you the idea of how the movement takes place. 1 minute. Yeah, actually, this is the one. You look at this figure first. So, you assume that this is our shoreline. So, this is land and this is sea. So, we define some x direction and some y direction. This is our shoreline. So if we take this as our shoreline, normal to that shoreline is y direction. 1 minute. So normal to our shoreline, this is, so that means this is all sea and this is all land. This is your shoreline, and we'll assume that the waves are coming like this. So waves are coming not normal to the shore. This is normal to the shore. This is normal to the shore. But actually, they are coming at an angle. And this is the wave crest. So that means the wave is proceeding like this, and it is hitting the shore in this way. So this is the direction of movement of the waves. So what we do is, these are all wave rays. This is the length of the crest. So I have taken some dl, delta L. So if this angle is theta, so there is a relationship between this delta x and this delta L in terms of theta. Okay. Now, the same thing is shown here. Okay. These are the wave crests. This is offshore. This is backshore. So your shoreline is this. This is your shoreline. Now, these are the waves that are moving. These are the waves that are moving. Now, what happens is, when the waves are moving, so they are started here in the deep water and are offshore, and they proceed in this direction to reach the shoreline. This is the back shore. Now, while doing so, at some place they start breaking. So this is all called the breaker zone. This is all the breaker zone. So, due to this turbulence that is created, there will be a current, that is fluid velocity induced, which will be having almost zero velocity in the offshore region, and again there will not be any longshore current near the backshore or shoreline, but the velocity will be having a certain distribution. That means the maximum velocity, current velocity, parallel to the shore. This is the shore. So a fluid with a maximum velocity will be traveling in this region. In this region, so in this region, the current will be traveling in this direction. So this is what we termed as longshore current. So wave-induced current in the surf zone is this zone where you have predominant breaking. This is the breaking zone, or also called as surf zone. So wave-induced current in the surf zone and the turbulence induced by wave breaking. So there are the two factors that cause the longshore transport. One is the wave-induced current and the turbulence induced by wave breaking. They combine to cause alongshore sediment transport on the beaches in one of the following modes. One is bed load and the other is suspended load. Now, what is bed load? Bed load is by rolling or sliding along the floor of the seabed. So, if we take, suppose we consider say this is the bed, and some particles will be moving in the form of rolling. So this is called as your so-called bed load. And you will have water. These are the waves. And this is all water. This is all water. Now in this water, over this depth, there will be lumps or pockets of sediment. So they are in suspension. They are not resting on the bed. This is called as the suspended load. So by suspension in the moving fluid, the fluid will be moving, along with the fluid, it will travel. Now, in addition to these two, there are two more modes of flow, transport. One is called as the wash load, and the other is a sheet flow. Sheet flow means, in the case of bed load, what I showed is small lumps of material will be moving or rolling near the bed. This is the bed. But whereas, that means each particle will be having its own independent movement. So it all depends upon the grain size and the shape. Whereas the sheet flow means all these particles put together will form like a sheet. And in a similar way to suspended load, they move. But only difference between the suspended load and sheet flow is that suspended load will be in the form of lumps containing mixed particles. This is one lump, and this is another lump. This is another lump. So they contain group different particles of different shapes and sizes. So this lump as a whole, these lumps as a whole, they will be carried in the form of a suspended load. Whereas the sheet flow is having certain predominant length and it will be moving closer to the bed. So this is close to bed. Okay. Now, what is wash load? Wash load is very fine particles that are carried in suspension, not from the bed. See, that is the difference. Going back to the same explanation, see, what I said is, now there are certain particles near the bed. So due to these velocities, these bed particles will be moving in the form of rolling. And some of them will be lifted and they join the suspended load due to the excessive movement. So, the suspended load is basically the bed material which is lifted and kept in suspension. So, the origin of both bed load and suspended load is from the ocean bed, seabed, or the bed material which is available in the shore region, the back shore or near shore region. So this material which will be present here is the material that is present in this region. Over time will get picked up and it will be moving towards the ocean along in this direction or in this direction. So this is the longshore direction. This is the longshore direction and this is the cross shore or offshore direction. So both bed load and suspended load have their origin in the near shore region or back shore, and they travel in a direction parallel to the shoreline. So this is called the longshore or alongshore sediment movement. Now coming to the other type, the wash load. The wash load, what happens is, now this is the shore. Now from somewhere, rivers will be joining the ocean. So when the rivers join the ocean, so they will be carrying certain material, fine material and coarse material also. So coarser material will get deposited in this region. And it will be moving along shore. But the fine material, without getting deposited near the shore, will be directly carried and due to the wave action, it will be traveling in the form of a suspension. And that suspension is different from your suspended load, because the suspended load originates from the near shore region, back shore, near shore region. Whereas the wash load is the material, fine material, that will be brought by the rivers and directly carried in the form of a suspended load due to the energies transferred from the waves to the current. So that is the wash load. Do you know the difference between these four types of bed materials? Bed movement, bed load, suspended load, wash load, and sheet flow. So sheet flow, this comprises an extension to the bed load. So this is an extension to the bed load at higher transport rates. More than one grain layer of particles is activated, and thus the bed load comprises several layers of moving particles, all in contact with one another. See, simple bed load will not have grains contacting with one another, whereas in the case of sheet flow, the grains will be maintaining contact with one another. So one layer will be in touch with another layer. So a couple of layers, few layers will travel. So that is the sheet flow. Now you can see this figure will give you an idea about the bed load and suspended load. Now this is your shoreline. This is your water level. Water surface. And this is your bed bottom. So this is all seawater. So this is the depth H. So this figure shows you these are the waves. See, these are the waves. Now the velocity of the current, this is how it varies. It will be 0 at the bottom and it will be having certain velocity distribution in this way. So the velocity increases with depth. This is z direction. So this is how the current velocity will be varying. So there will be a certain thickness which is identified as the bed load thickness, Z0. Your sheet load will be slightly above this Z0 or maybe including Z0. Your sheet flow will be restricted to this region only in the form of sheets like this. This is all suspended load. This is all suspended load. Now, your wash load, your wash load will be again in this region. But normally, we will not give much weightage or much importance to this so-called wash load and also sheet flow, because we can include them in the suspended load and bed load itself. So wash load and bed load, wash load is considered as a part of the bed load. Sorry, sheet flow is considered as a part of the bed load and wash flow is considered as a part of suspended load. Now, this is the concentration. You can see the concentration will be also increasing with depth, not in a straight line form, in some parabolic form. In the same way as the current velocity. The current velocity also, it is a parabolic distribution. So, this is how the bed load concentration, suspended load concentration, they will vary. Now, similarly, the corresponding fluid velocities. Now, let us go to the details of this bed load and suspended load. Now, bed load transport is the dominant mode for low velocity flows and are large grain sizes. Now, when the grain size is large, due to its weight, it will get settled near the bed. Whereas, if the grain size is finer, then the tendency of it to be lifted by buoyancy and the current forces is more. So, the finer particles will be in suspension and the larger heavy particles will be near the bed. So, they will be moving either as a sheet flow or rolling as a bed. Now, bed means what? Near, it is the interface between the soil or bottom. This is your bed. And this is all your water. Now, when particles are here, and when you are saying that this will be moving in this direction, what is the force that causes this movement? The force is nothing but the force due to the bed shear stresses. Suspended load transport is the dominant mode for high velocity flows and smaller grain size. When the velocity is high, then the particles will be lifted. And similarly, when the particle sizes, grain sizes are small, they can be easily lifted. When the velocity is low, the particles will get settled and they will settle near the bed. Or if the particles are of larger size, then also due to their weight, they will settle. So therefore, whether a particular beach material will move in the form of bed load or suspended load depends upon the level of turbulence that is created due to the wave motion. So in the marine situation, gravel size fractions are typically transported as bed load because they are of larger size, whereas sand sized fractions are transported by both bed load and suspended load. In the form of bed load when the velocity is low, and in the form of suspended load when the velocities are high. So with the suspended transport occurring up to several meters above the bed, in this situation, the suspended transport is often much larger than the bed load transport. See, when you consider the movement near the shore, so it will be of several meters depth. Near to the shore, it may be few meters, 1 or 2 meters, but a little inside, you have several meters, varying from 3 to 10 meters, 15 meters, like that. Bed load, so the beach material are transported both as bed load as well as suspended load. So the causing factor is the size, that is the particle size, and also the velocities, the fluid velocities, and the turbulence, plus the shear stress. So, what are the various factors that are responsible for the movement either in the form of bed load or suspended load? There are three factors. One is the sediment characteristics, that is size, and then second is the fluid velocities or the current velocities, and the third is the turbulence that is created. So that will decide whether the material will be traveling in the form of bed load or suspended load. Now, because the suspended load can extend to a few meters above the bed level, and the bed level or bed load thickness is relatively small, and moreover, the bed load, because it consists of larger sized particles, the velocity with which the bed load will be traveling, the bed load material or the grains will be traveling, will be less compared to the velocity with which the suspended load material will be moving. So, if you consider the rate of transport, that is the volume of material moving per some time for 1 unit length, will be more in case of suspended load. It is due to two things. One, the extent of suspended load is more, few meters above the bed up to sea surface, and smaller particles which are close to each other and which are capable of receiving which will be receiving higher velocities, because you have seen the velocity is more. See, the current velocity is more here in this path compared to this path. So there will be a more tendency of larger distribution, larger movement. So in this situation, the suspended load transport is often much larger than the bed load transport. Now, on the other hand, the transport rates may be approximately equal in both upcoast one. The suspended load is relatively high where wave breaking is more active. Now here I have told that this is the region of wave breaking. This is called as the breaker zone or surf zone. Why it is called as a surf zone? What is surf? What is surf? Hmm? Have you not washed your clothes using surf?
Yes, sir.
So when you add surf powder to water and rinse it, what you will get? Lot of
Foam.
lot of
Foam.
you get. So in the breaker zone also there will be lot of foam. No, how many of you have visited any beach? Not your Uppada beach. Any uh, Vizag or Chennai or Mumbai. In fact, you might have seen a lot of movies. In several movies, you will be seeing that people will be standing on a small piece of wooden piece of um flat piece, and then they will be traveling along with the wave. So that is called as surf riding. Surf riding. That means they will travel in the wave. I think I will show that 1 minute. I will. It will be very interesting to you see to see. So this is the piece of wooden piece. They will stand and they will travel. They will move. This is a very common sport in Western countries. Hmm? So I will show one more thing also. Waves are traveling. This is the deep water. They are traveling. This is the deep water. They are traveling. This is deep water. They are traveling. So when they travel and when they break, you see here a lot of foam is formed. The surf. This is called as the so-called surf zone. Okay. See, surf zone. This is all surf zone. This extends to several meters from the shoreline. This is the shoreline and towards the shore because the zone in which the waves will break will vary. Okay.
Play video, sir.
See, there are different types of breaking. There are actually four types of breaking. One is called as spilling breaking, plunging breaking, collapsing breaking, and surging breaking. Now, these four types of breaking, they will depend upon the slope of the beach. If the slope of the beach is very steep, then it is called as a spilling breaker. And when the beach slope is steep and the waves are also steeper, then it is called as a plunging type. So plunging means you have seen here earlier image. See, this is how it will come and it will plunge into itself. So this is called as a plunging breaker. Then collapsing breaker. Collapsing breaker means it will almost, it is on the verge of breaking and coming and impinging or touching with its front surface. But what happens is it collapses. So the peakness will not be built. So it is a collapsing wave. And then the surging is normally when the beach slope is flat and the height is not much. So it will just travel and it is called as a surging wave. These are the four types of wave breaking waves. As you don't have this in your syllabus, I have not taken much on that. But It is the plunging breakers that cause lot of energy dissipation. See, this is the ocean bottom. Are you 1 minute? See, very flat beach is spilling break, and very steep beach it is surging breaker. Because it is steep, it will not plunge. So, in between this plunging and this surging, you will have collapsing. The collapsing is not shown here; it is collapsing. Okay. So, the suspended load is relatively high where the wave breaking is most active. That is near the breaker line for plunging breakers, but more evenly spread across the surf zone for spilling breakers. So, for plunging breakers, it is more evenly, it is most active near the breaker zone. And for spilling breakers, it is evenly distributed. In addition, the oblique wave run-up and the gravity-induced return flow on the beach face cause a zigzag sand particle motion on the beach with a net movement in the down coast direction. Now, okay, run-up I have not. I think I have taken the figure somewhere. Okay, right. See, now you look at this figure. This is the ocean bottom, and this is still water level. Now waves are traveling like this. So in deep water, the waves will be symmetric. But when you come to shallow water, the waves will try to break. So this is called the breaking point. Now, Had this been flat, the still water line and the mean water line will coincide because this is the wave. So this is still mean water line. I will use another color. What is this? See, this is still water line. Now this is the mean water level. So here this is mean water level and this is still water level. Still water level is always horizontal. But whereas mean water level, because of waves, it will change. So the difference between the still water level and the mean water level is called as a set down or set up. If the mean water level is above the still water level, this is called as set up. But on the other hand, if MWL is below SWL, then it is set down. Whereas if MWL is above SWL, then it is set up and it is indicated by eta. Now this is called as the maximum value is what is known as run up. This is what is known as run up. So up to maximum this point water will touch. So that is run up. So the oblique wave run up and gravity induced return flow on the beach causes a zigzag sand particle motion on the beach. Now what is that? With a net movement in the down coast direction. Now what is happening here? The waves are moving obliquely. This is your shoreline. This is all your shoreline. And the waves are approaching some direction. They are not coming normal to it. They are not coming normal to it. They are approaching some direction. So as a result, when it comes here, then there will be a reverse flow. So this reverse flow and this onward movement, they will interact and they cause the movement in the down coast direction, a zigzag movement. 1 minute. What happened to my original figures? What happened? Actually, there is some other information I wanted to pass on. Yes, yes. So this is what already I have covered. Right. Okay, this circulation system. In fact, I wanted to take this first. Right, right. Okay. Yeah, this is right. Here I have given. I was searching where I kept all those things. Right. Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. After this, I should have taken this. Okay. Anyhow, I have already introduced. Now, let me once again. It will be a little repetition, but it doesn't matter much. What is the time? 4 o'clock. Okay. Do you have any other schedule now? Do you have any other class? What happened?
No class, sir.
No class?
Still